G'day, welcome to Corp. This is part 11. Now, thank you to Ingo, who sent me a message to point out that there was a new update in the routing system of Corp. So just to quickly read what it says. Route search was optimized, which will increase performance of the game. Every passenger now knows their route and will follow it until they arrive at their destination. This should fix route-related bugs. Passengers now exchange information about routes and in between cities. This should solve problems with routing, such as passengers flying back and forth between two cities and losing track of their destination. Now, that's not something I at least ever noticed. But whether this will help or not, I had a short little look at this, and it did look like you can see there's a bit more of a flowing jumpiness to this. That before, what it was every time I added a route, it would jump, whereas now you can sort of see that there's a lag hold on each sort of every little moment or so. So let's have a look. So 32,000 is what we're upping them to. Yeah, that's what we've got there. So let's just attach cities. Now I will say as well, when I was making this series in the first 10 parts of this, I think I filmed part 10 2 months ago from where I am right now. So I certainly will not be right on top of what I've just done in the previous video. It is nice to be back. And so what I'll do is, regardless of how the performance goes on this one, we will play it to see how the performance goes. This is still the biggest problem that the game has, is that once you've got this many cities, this is how long it takes for a weekly sort of announcement to take place. And that obviously hasn't yet been addressed, and that is awful. I think that what part of that is just the game's saving. And for me, I probably have already said this in previous ones, it doesn't need to save. I don't think I've ever needed this game, needed to rely on the autosave feature of this game. I think every single time I've just saved the game as I've quit and come back in. So I think that it should possibly be that you can just turn that off as a feature, because that is 100% what I would do. I would just turn off autosave and cope without it, because of all the performance issues of this game, crashing has never been one of them. I would gladly say goodbye to that. So, where we last left off, who can remember? I believe I was finally at the point where my money is going up very nicely here. That now I'm wondering if I actually do these at 32,000 or if I do everything at 64. 32. So currently this is a bit slower because of the I haven't upgraded the planes here because we are still working through Argentina. But I believe I was somewhere up here in terms of upgrading cities. I suppose what I can do is just look for red cities. But everyone's looking alright, so maybe I have completed all the way down. Nope, we hit another week. Sure. But everyone up this end is looking pretty good. Let's just do a quick sweep to try and see if we can identify either red cities or just unattended cities. Let's get rid of that one. We will connect these two that way. What am I doing? It's not a plane. Lima is going to be blown away to hear that it has a city of that size. So the biggest question that I have for this, and it was one thing that I did see when I stopped making, or when I did take the break from making these videos while I waited for the game to have any sort of adjustment to hopefully improve the way it played, because I did get, more than any other game, messages from people just saying, like, when are you going to do another Fly Corp video? This isn't a Fly Corp video. More Fly Corp video, please. And so my question is, as you, the person that views this and enjoys this, if you do enjoy this, is this copable? Like, the amount of jumpiness that this game is experiencing, would you rather this, or would you rather I waited for the game to improve? Because I'm quite happy to wait it out. I mean, the game is still in its sort of early access, so I'm certainly not holding it against the game at this point. Like it's thank you to the game for being available to let me play it at this point. Is the way that I look at it. Oh, another week. So, but how do you find it? Would you rather this series just wait again? I'm happy either way to make this video to sort of say. So I realized that in the last video I just more made it as a comment in the comments to say that I wasn't going to continue. So definitely some people might not have read that. Whereas this one is very much the video of what we think. But I won't continue to spend more time in this video talking about the performance. I don't think that's what the enjoyment of this video is. It's more just the enjoyment of discovery of new cities and places as we hopefully get, I guess, every single city in the world slowly strung together. I suppose one other thing we can probably just check as well is have they wiped Ukraine completely off the map here, or does it still exist? It does. Crimea hasn't been claimed either way yet, but good to see Ukraine still there, an independent state. Okay. Now, the main point of this particular video is I now have money, and I now have the majority of stuff upgraded. So what I want to do is try and see if we can get rid of this. This is the goal of this particular one. Can I actually survive at a point with this? Do I have enough money to do it? So Falkland Islands is going to be what this episode's named after. It's going to be the only country that joins in this particular episode. And it will just be... Oh, another end of the week. And I assume that there is only going to be the one city in there, which is San Jose. One thing I've never wondered, are all the San Jose's around the world named after the same one saint? Or is it multiple saints that have, that's acknowledging? I assume there would have been more than one San Jose around America in its history. But this is ideally the end of the line of South America. Now, there have been some people have asked, like, will I connect the whole world together? Maybe. That I just have like it actually as a complete loop as opposed to a one-way string. The only way that this wouldn't be the end of the line is that I actually would swing back here and then go up, bounce maybe a few cities along the edge, and end up at Hawaii and Anchorage, just to just so that they're not these really long routes in the middle of a path. We're still slowly working our way down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down the speed here, because what we want to do is that speed going full ball is going to make it harder to get rid of this, and that is the goal right now. Wrong one. Definitely tell I'm out of the swing of just blindly upgrading everything. I mean, I wasn't even that good at it previously. How do we want to connect you in? Let's get rid of that one. Definitely what they have done with the upgrade has improved the that lag that was happening when I added a new route, so at least that's something. But I don't know if the passengers are reconsidering stuff each time they move. That's it's causing problems. Now, why are these two cities more than anyone else experiencing this? Now, this guy has that many passengers for Santiago del Estero, and they're not moving at all. So is that city blocked off? So why is stuff not moving from there to here? Is it just it's too slow? That can't be it, because I mean these are full full-size planes that are moving on. I don't understand why I'm not seeing them shift at all. That number is stationary. Is it just that they're moving everyone else? It's just very interesting that it's those two cities and nothing else. I'm just curious, if I create this route here... Oh, end of the week. That's funny as well. This is just a side note on one thing that a lot of people did comment on. What's happening there? Because these city planes aren't like negative 600 and something people were on that plane. 0 passengers. I've got to follow this route, I guess, because I must have disconnected something, and they're just not moving down that way. But I don't know why everyone else wouldn't be impacted by that. That just seems flat broken. The cities around it just don't have anyone on them. Let's just upgrade both cities and find out what happens. Well, that guy's small plane, so at least let's address that. None of these planes are red. There's no one moving anywhere. I mean, at least up here there's red planes. Something's wrong down here. Let's zoom out to a point where we're not seeing the names. Just make sure that there are planes moving between everything here. And there definitely are. Something's not working. Very strange, very broken. Alright, well let's just, I guess, roll with it. And just accept that the game must be even more broken than it was. What was it? One thing that I read, the up here I made comment on the city of Mexicali, and people said that is the, I think that was, I can't remember which country that was in. I think that's the Mexican side of the border, and on the American side there's a Cali. No, Calico? No, something like that. So it's the equivalent, the opposite. So it's like, it starts with Calians in Mexico. And I was reading, what am I currently reading? I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, and they went through that city, and I was like, hey, I know that one. Thanks to people commenting on my videos. So thank you. Yeah, I could exactly picture the location on the planet where she was talking about where she was. Courtesy of this, which has actually happened a few times. I was talking to I have a new coworker who who's Indian, and I asked him where he was from in India, and he said Hyderabad, and I was like, I've heard of Hyderabad. Why have I heard of Hyderabad? And I was like, ah, oh, Flycorp. I know where Hyderabad is. Thanks, Flycorp. So definitely my geography is slowly improving. Courtesy of the game. If anyone can see why this isn't moving down this way, I wonder if it's now to do with this new algorithm that they just can't cope with the distance. That passengers just can't communicate to each other about how to get there, because no one's moving. No one is getting to San Diego del Estero. Like, that number's not changing. So it's not that no one's moving in some of these sections. Like, the guys that are the small planes are. I just hope that it is something like I've just missed a connection somewhere, because there's definitely enough connections that it's something I can do, and I've certainly done it before. I mean, his connection's all the way to France. But there's not enough of a clear, like, I mean, when I did have that connection that was broken up here somewhere, there was a clear break in the layout. Like, you could see half the map was going red, waiting for people to be able to move on. And that is not the case here. So it does feel like they've adjusted something that means that the people... I don't know, people on the path just can't recalibrate where they're going, how to get there. But I'm not sure there's much I can do to help with it. Let's try just like a temporary fix of putting these two cities together. What about that? If I do this and this, does that recalibrate routes enough that you can see that those guys would now go this way to get there? Still nothing. All right. What about this? What if we just give that a direct flight? That you're going from Santiago del Estero to Patinga? Another interesting comment that someone made on one of the videos was about the split of Portuguese and Spanish in South America. I said that I didn't know how it's split, and they made the comment that it's how do you not know that? And I was thinking about it, and I don't know how South America goes in other schooling. This is genuinely something I'm curious about. And there we go, we actually are shifting people now. Let's try and clear that out. And I can see that that's now red there. But what happens if I get rid of that afterwards? Will this continue on? But we will get rid of these flight paths once that goes green. South America was not a big part of anything history-wise that I would have, say, learnt in school, even as like elective subjects and things of history or I don't know, geography or anything. I mean, you maybe a brief sort of interesting dip into the Incas and the Aztecs is probably about as much you would go, but it would never be a full-blown case for them. They're just more that sort of horrible history, sort of fun things of like, oh, check out the sort of human sacrifice and that these guys did. Definitely not a major anything into South America. As a Australian history, we definitely did Australia as a history. Aboriginals, so First Nation Australians, is a huge subject too. This might be an interesting one for you as non-Australians hearing about what is the most significant things to us. And definitely even Australians that are listening, correct me if I'm wrong, or even point out other things that we would probably focus on way more than anyone else. The Battle of Gallipoli in World War One, where Australians landed on the wrong beach to fight against the Turkish, is huge. If you want to talk about like the most important battle in Australian history, it's that, and it's the Battle of Long Tan in Vietnam. Oh, those two. We are, and as as an American, I would imagine that you would have never heard of the Battle of Gallipoli, and I can completely understand that would not be part of a history in terms of what you would study in American history, especially if you were doing world wars. You wouldn't care what Australia and Turkey did in World War One. But I would be curious to hear, are you English, and do you know what the Battle of Gallipoli is? Because if you do, that interests me. And And if you do know it, is it because you went to Australia and learned about it, or you went to Gallipoli and learned about it? Or is it just something that you happen to know just from schooling or from anything else? It does interest me that there is obviously that very much personalized history that you are going to learn from where you grew up. And I think that there's nothing that really connects South America and Australia in any way in our history. Or any sort of almost ongoing things. I mean, apart from, say, Argentina destroying us in a World Cup qualifier a few years ago. That one definitely still sits in my brain. But apart from that, yeah, I don't think... I can't think of any specific things that would be a reason why that would connect us. I don't think Australia ever fought in the Falkland War. I don't think that war probably went on long enough for us to be asked to get involved in it at all. Yeah. So the other question then would be, if you aren't South American and in school you learnt about South America, what was it that you learnt? Like, just I'm curious to see what are those broad things that are considered important about South America, like internationally. Like, what is it that would be seen as like, oh, that's what how do you word it? That like, this is why, on an international scale, this is what's important about South America. But as a South American, was there anything that was hammered home into you about South America? Like, was there some part of history or native peoples, like historical native peoples or whatever, that was considered the most important thing? Genuinely interested, because it is, like I said, I struggle to remember which parts speak Spanish and which parts speak Portuguese, which seems like probably one of the more fundamental things about what if you knew basic South America. So I'm always open to a place of learning more about somewhere that I don't know much about. It is also the only continent that I've never visited, not including Antarctica and that. So it's definitely on my list of places that I do want to get more of an understanding of and have an interest in. My daughter loves Encanto, so I definitely have spent a lot of time watching the vibrant colors of Colombia. And even that, like, I mean, obviously there's the Encanto is based on people being driven from their homes, and it's like, well, is that based on something? I would think that possibly it's like that must be based on either a particular time in Colombian history or something that happened regularly in parts of Colombia. And it's like, well, it's just sort of like, okay, an establishing shot for me. So yeah, let's learn about South America. Okay, so we are looking for exclamation marks. We're also looking for, and again, it's this place. I don't know if possibly what's happened and the reason that we're seeing this one all over the place is it's just that was the one that that was the new big city when I last saved and quit the game, and so that's where you've got all the passengers traveling to. But then what's happened is the new update has happened and it has just caused these cities to collapse. So you can see, for example, now this guy's fine, I hope. Maybe. This is still relatively broken, I guess. And unfortunately it means that I won't be getting rid of all the red cities today, just purely because the red cities just have passengers sitting on their hands that aren't moving anywhere. It's a real shame. I mean, that does make me feel like maybe I do have to wait to do another one, because otherwise, like, I can't really... Like, this was the point that I've got the money that I really want to make the leap into being able to tell if I can do this without having red cities. But yeah, it's gonna make it a lot trickier if people are just not gonna move. But I mean, other cities seem to be fine. And the problem, I think, is possibly that those cities that do have just a major amount of people that have just sat down in them, will they actually, like, get fixed once I do this? Once I make this just cleaning, cleaning route. That's another one. Did I miss that city? I got the wrong one. Yeah, wrong city. Even then, he won't. His people won't travel to Baggy, Beige. What are we? Brazil. So Brapa. G. Do I know a G in Brazil? Go. Baggy. No. I don't have to take a guess on how I should be correctly pronouncing that. Yeah, sorry, the problem is as well that the cities that I am now doing this cleanup for aren't going to be the only cities that have this issue. I assume that so many of these cities may have just people sitting in them that aren't moving. I mean, surely I should be seeing, like, red planes moving around. Like, you can see here, there's red planes moving around because those balls of passengers are traveling. And that is not happening in South America. In any of this section. With the exception of the planes that I'm making direct flights. Just cleared that out. Keep it working our way up, I guess. Oh, and you've just got like a Whitlam sampler of those ones. I don't feel like there's too much more I can do other than just make them massive. It's New York and Los Angeles got stuck at that one. Nova Hamburger. Now this, I don't know where that is. There. I almost hope that that means that we see like an overflow of passengers everywhere around here. Looks like there's just not passengers traveling anywhere now. Like, why is no one accruing here? Did the game forget to give me new passengers? Something is very much up. I mean, there definitely has to be passengers still moving around because I'm making money. Still at the similar rate to what I always was, I think. Was a while ago. No. I think the goal will just be quickly, can I get everything not red? And if so, can we get rid of this? But again, there's probably too many new cities coming in that I spent too long not worrying about new cities there that probably won't be the case. Oh, another week. Definitely getting crazy, that wait time there. I would have said that the wait times that are going on with the planes, the sort of the lag and everything, I'm okay with, but I'm not sure about what's happening with the passengers here and whether that's. I mean, potentially it means like I've got a moment to try and see if I can get this without everything going red, but it does feel like it's a little bit cheating because no one's moving. Like, this guy's now getting up to 6,000, so it's like he's just accruing everyone, but no one's traveling beyond him. But why? This guy's not taking any passengers from him. No, this guy's not sort of dropping anyone off onto him. Like, very few people off to him. But it also feels like if I was to make that just a direct route somewhere up here, it's not going to, like, alleviate... I don't know. Let's try it. Oh, I've got to zoom in, I guess, because otherwise I'm not going to... That random South Brazilian city. And let's just take them straight to... Los Angeles. Oh, another week. Get another plane going on here. Let's try and see if we can at least move. Because I would imagine as well that what we would see is a whole lot of like all of this stuff should move that way, but then also it would mean that anyone trying to come south should be dumping everyone at Los Angeles in order to come this way. But again, there's not that many passengers moving around. It's very strange. Oh, from looking at this in Peru, it looks like starting city's name with a H-U-A is a very common thing for this area. Wow. Then there's no other cities outside of this small section here that have that. I'm sure they do exist, but even like a city like Mercedes, it's just sprouted up. Like it's not really gaining that many people that quickly. Oh, another week. I think you've shown up so quickly that I didn't upgrade the planes before I made the move. Oh, I did that one. Yeah, everyone's just sitting around. But it's as opposed to when there was that missing connection down here. It can't be this, because if it was a missing connection, it would just be that everyone would go red. but there's just not people moving around. But that's not this. This is just these people just There's also, like, I can do some pretty quick math to say that that's not 3,000. It's 6,500 people listed right there. So this is definitely my 2-month wait hasn't come back to find that this is in a better place than where it was. I guess the lag is better on putting in new routes. The lag at the end of the week is still awful. And if it is just saving, just get rid of it. Just let us save the game ourselves. Blue Fields. I wonder who named Blue Fields, because it does not suit the names of everywhere else. Down here in Nicaragua. So I'd say that again, this will be probably a lone video to say this is where the game has made a change, and I've tested it out, and plenty of question marks. Now I would think that possibly it's just that my if I started a new one, I wonder if that would have been okay. It's just that it's just can't cope with the idea that passengers will already partway through a route and can't figure out where they're supposed to go. This question mark's still about, but that's alright, that'll always be the case. Or is that the only one? There's one down here too. And this guy has cleaned out a fair bit of his mess. Now hopefully that does mean that once that stuff's got to New York, Los Angeles, it has moved on and actually carried on its journey, which does mean that I'm gonna have to just keep doing that, I guess, to clean these up. And I can just sort of slowly add small countries, which doesn't feel like it would be Chile or Bolivia. Maybe it'll be somewhere in Europe. I can just add the Netherlands or something to another video in Denmark. To just sort of slowly try and fix the world while this goes on. So I'll throw the question out there then. Should I wait to make another video to see if any more adjustments are made? Or are you just happy as is and you just want to see these truck along? Personally, I think that to me, the point of this video is just a fun adventure across the world to visit, just to learn about countries and cities that I've never heard of or never been to, leisurely. And my concern is that just the technical issues just end up getting much more of my attention, making it less enjoyable for anyone watching. But let me know. Should I continue or should I wait? Unquestionably, the series will continue once adjustments are made again, even if it's just to see, alright, well, has the adjustments made any improvements, or do we have to wait again, or do I just try and power through and keep going? I can at least see there are some red planes moving around here now, so there is definitely people moving about. So that's positive, at least. That it does look like these particular red cities have just got to get kicked into gear, and they'll once they're right, hopefully. I guess I haven't been going long enough to ensure that, but yeah. Anyway, that's our first look. Few months removed from the last time I played. Unfortunately, I was optimistic that this would be the first one where I might have a chance of getting rid of that, but I think that's just been reporting Cleveland has been the problem the entire time, because Cleveland's become one of the stationary cities. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. Yep, my big two questions. Let's hear about South America. What did you learn in high school? And what's what do you think of the state of the game? And we will just finish off upgrading this guy here. We will zoom out. We'll go in a nice little zoom in on the Falkland Islands to show that it is our focus of this particular one. Looking good, fellas. And until next time, I'll catch you later. See ya.